The Roaring Twenties, also known as the Jazz Age, was a time of economic boom and cultural change. Manufacturing output grew rapidly, and with inflation and unemployment staying at relatively low rates, many Americans were eager to seize the opportunity for a more comfortable middle-class lifestyle. It was a time of prohibition, a law banning the manufacture, sale, and consumption of alcohol in the United States between 1920 and 1933. Americans resisted this law. Speakeasies, secret places to go drink, and listen to jazz music were created and had a high level of popularity. Cathedral High School was founded in 1918 as an all-boys Catholic high school by Bishop Joseph Chartrand. There was not a boys Catholic high school before this, though it was owned at the time by the Indianapolis Archdiocese. The Brothers of Holy Cross served as faculty. Since 1918, Cathedral has lived Holy Cross values. That means they focus on the development of the whole student, affording them opportunities for spiritual, intellectual, social, emotional, and physical growth. Under the Brothers, Cathedral's reputation as an outstanding academic institute grew and remains true to that mission today. Today, that tradition continues as they are proud to be one of the 17 schools in the country that have a formal affiliation with the Brothers of Holy Cross. Hiram Evans became the leader of the Ku Klux Klan in 1922. During the 1920s, the Klan grew dramatically nationwide, and by 1923, it claimed to have nearly 4 million members. The Klan reached its peak power in 1924 after electing Edward Jackson for governor and D.C. Stevens as the Grand Wizard. The Klan had an enmity toward African Americans and Eastern and Southern European immigrants, which was mostly comprised of Jewish and Catholic immigrants. 5 million Americans joined the KKK in 1920, but after the scandal of D.C. Stevens, in which he was convicted of rape and murder on a train, the KKK lost most of its power. The Klan tried to forbid the Catholic Church to have any schools in Indiana in 1925, but due to the loss of power, it was unsuccessful. So, Mr. McGlynn, did your parent ever talk about the effects of the KKK at Cathedral? If so, what were they?
Yes, he talked about, or my dad used to talk about how he'd be told stories about when the KKK came down the street one day, do a parade, and the students in their Letterman jackets and sweaters came out and formed arm in arm a chain around the school to protect it.
Wow, that seems pretty intense. Was your parent concerned about this or the well-being of them, or was it were there police officers there, or what was going on?
Well, I remember one specific time him telling me that there was a policeman standing on the corner, and he was Irish, and someone distracted him, so he looked away, and someone uncapped a fire hydrant hose, and it sprayed a bunch of KKK members, and they were all drenched.
Wow, that's pretty insane. So the cathedral's been around for nearly 100 years now. What kind of other traditions were common at Cathedral back then that are similar to now, such as pep rallies, or what kind of other similarities were there?
Yeah, their pep rallies were really big. Every Friday before football games, they'd go out in front of the school, and they would just yell and cheer and always have a speaker there. And they'd just get really hyped for Friday night's game.
Awesome. Now, I know that Cathedral was often targeted by the KKK, but it wasn't that Cathedral was always perfect either. What kind of problems did Cathedral have back then?
Well, for the most part, they weren't an all-black high school. They had most of them were white. They didn't have very many. But so they had to make an all-black high school called Christmas Addicts because it's a racist stereotype. They said tuberculosis was more common in black people, and they wanted to keep the blacks away from the whites so the white people wouldn't catch tuberculosis.
That is quite a shame. But Cathedral held a tradition of being one of the few schools that would actually play Christmas Attucks later on. They overcame their bigotry, correct?
Yeah, they were I think the first white school to play an all-black high school at Christmas Attucks.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. McGlynn.
Thank you.